everybody, welcome back. It's great to see you again today. Today is Wednesday, it's baking day here in the kitchen. So I wanted to show you a quick recipe that is great for this time of year. Last week we did something with summer squash because that is in overabundance right now in everyone's garden. And this week we're gonna do a quick zucchini recipe. Now a lot of you may have different recipes out there for zucchini bread. This one here is a recipe also for zucchini bread, but it is a fantastic recipe. I've had it for ages. It's a no-fail recipe. It's nice and moist. It leaves your zucchini bread just perfect in the end. So let's get started with the recipe. First off, what we're gonna do is in the stand mixer, we're gonna combine our wet ingredients, okay? So we're gonna combine them with the sugar. So first off here, I have 2 1/4 cups of sugar. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw that right into the mixer. Just regular granulated sugar, okay? 2 1/4 cups. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add 1 cup of vegetable oil to that. All right, so I have pre-measured the vegetable oil, so it's gonna go right in there, 1 cup of the vegetable oil. And then what I'm gonna do after that is I'm gonna add 3 large eggs. Now find the biggest eggs you've got in your fridge, okay? Now, if you have some medium eggs or maybe some different sizes and they don't look quite as big, I know it's kind of hard to tell on TV, but this is, you know, pretty good size egg. Pick out the 3 biggest that you have or 4 regular medium sized ones. Okay, so you want to have probably, if you have medium, like the medium or the smaller type of eggs, definitely use 4, okay? But I've got 3 good sized eggs here. I was able to pick out my 3 biggest ones. So you wanna definitely do that. So again, I crack them in a separate bowl just in case I have any shells, just so I can kind of fish them out before they go into the mix. So it's a little bit easier than trying to get them out of the mixing bowl, for sure. So I have 3 large eggs are gonna go right into the stand mixer. Okay, so we have the eggs, the sugar, and the oil. So that's all gonna go right in there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start the mixer on a low speed, just to kind of incorporate everything and kind of get things moving, okay? And then what I'm gonna do after that is I'm gonna speed it up and whip it really good for about 3 to 4 minutes, okay? That's kind of the magic number with eggs and sugar as far as getting that nice and light and fluffy texture. Now these eggs are nice and fresh, so they have a really dark yolk. You're gonna see this color change as the mixture whips and gets that air incorporated into it. It's gonna turn a nice light color, yellow, like a lemony yellow, okay? So that is pretty good there. I'm gonna stir it up and I'm gonna put it right on medium for a little while, okay? And then the last minute or so, I crank it right up. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on our dry ingredients. Now I have 3 cups of flour in the sifter right now. And I'm gonna add a few other ingredients to that and sift it all together, okay? So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna use some regular salt, and I'm gonna take 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm gonna put that right into our sifter here. So 1 teaspoon of salt, and then baking soda and baking powder are both equal parts as well. And these are gonna be 1 teaspoon each as well. So 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. So that's pretty easy to remember. So if you're jotting down this recipe while you're watching, just a teaspoon of each, and it comes out just perfect. Now this recipe makes 2 equal loaves of zucchini bread, all right? And you want to preheat your oven to 325. So I've got my oven going now on 325, and it's getting all warmed up. It's about ready. And so we're actually out of zucchini bread. So it's my favorite in the morning. So a little piece of zucchini bread with some butter. And I like it plain. You can throw in walnuts or chocolate chips or whatever at the end if you want to. Definitely use a variation, okay? So right now I've got the teaspoon of salt, the teaspoon of baking soda, the teaspoon of baking powder, and we've gone ahead and we've got the 3 cups of flour in there, okay? So then the last dry ingredient that I have is cinnamon. So we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon to the mix as well. Now if you like your bread a little bit more cinnamony, all right, you can put in 1.5 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons, whatever. But I find find a generous teaspoon of cinnamon does the trick for me, okay? So I think we're good to go there. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna sift all of these dry ingredients together. All right, now what I'm gonna do now is, since my mixer has been going at a pretty good clip, I'm gonna go ahead and crank this right up to the highest speed for a couple of minutes. I'm gonna finish sifting this, and then we're gonna come back and put it all together. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's been just a few minutes, and I have gotten this all beat up nice, and wow, this looks really, really good. This is all nice and incorporated really well. I want to show you the color on this, just so that you can see it. See that nice lemony color? Everything is beaten really, really well, and that's exactly what we're looking for, okay? So don't be afraid to put this right on that stand mixer and just let it go, okay? And so what we're gonna do now, I just wanna make sure this is on, because there we go, perfect. And I'm gonna raise this back up, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start this on low. Now I've already sifted all my ingredients together. That was the flour, the baking soda, the baking powder, okay, the salt, and the cinnamon. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this just on the first speed. And this is where we are going to add the dry ingredients just a little bit at a time. Just so, and basically what we're doing this for is so it doesn't make a huge mess. And it's gonna give a chance for the wet ingredients just to incorporate the dry ingredients just a little bit, and then you just add a little bit more. So you're gonna just do the sections at a time. And the last ingredient before the zucchini that we're gonna add is the vanilla. Now I've got some vanilla, some real homemade vanilla here that I've got, and we're gonna add 3 teaspoons of that vanilla, okay? So after I put in a few scoops of the dry ingredients, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add this vanilla in there. So 3 teaspoons. I love this vanilla. It's so flavorful. My goodness. And then when this gets a little bit low, I just fill it back up with I have like a quart container that I have all of my vanilla in. And then I just kind of fill this one up. This kind of sits in the cupboard. So it is so delicious and it smells so great.